No, we're very much the opposite of that.
Dangerous band in the world.
So, desperate journalist. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
We've got hello, Rob. We've got a Kaz and a Simon and a Rob and a Joe. So yeah, how's what hopefully is the last lap of lockdown treating you all at the moment, apart from the impressive length of your hairs collectively?
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of suited me.
Yeah.
Don't like going outside.
An excuse not to.
I've been allowed to stay in and have no one nag me that I've got to go out.
Pretty sweet, really.
Yeah, great, brilliant. The entire time's been fucking brilliant.
It's been fine, apart from not being able to obviously rehearse for most of it and not being able to play gigs. That's been shit. But yeah, apart from that, it's we've been lucky that things have been okay for us, you know.
We've been at home all the time, so it's a lot luckier than having to go to work somewhere around lots of people.
Talking of for shoots at home, Rob, have you bought a set of clippers over lockdown?
I have, yeah. And this is why I've got this undercut, because Joe did it about 2 weeks ago, because I was getting all these whiskers out the side like this. It's like my first thought was Phil Oakey, but I'm getting more of a Gary Oldman in the Fifth Element vibe, which is nice. I mean, I was going for Grebo, so
just slap a Grebo.
Brett Anderson, that's the one.
Is it? Yeah, I was more thinking, a pop release itself, but a little bit feminine.
Now you say it, I can see a bit of Carter type.
Yeah. It is just that.
Full 90s.
Have you had anyone to assault Philip Schofield recently? Or? I kind of want to cut it all off now. I'm fed up with it.
Oh no.
Well, zip it all.
I like it.
Well, yeah, not far off. But yeah, I keep on getting mocked.
I'm firmly on the other side of the fence. It suits you.
Oh, it does, yeah.
I think so as well.
Yeah. When it flops.
Yeah.
Grebo for life.
Yeah.
Just can't stop scrabbling around in the dirt listening to power chords.
I like that Ned's Atomic Dustbin album, and you can fuck off.
So is there a bit of a Ned's divide in the camp?
I don't really have any opinion on their music, but I just like
it. Me neither. I don't know.
It's not for me.
I just think it's great. I think it's fun, fast indie music that makes me think of school holidays. I love it. Godfather. Banger after banger. The only one.
It makes me think of being on school trips, going to the fucking Severn Trent sewage plant or something.
Yes.
And sitting there with a Walkman on, going, God, this is all it is. Ned's Atomic Dustbin and a sewage treatment plant.
I went on a school trip to the sewage plant as well. It was Minworth. Probably I don't know if it's the same one, but yeah, that's what we used to do, isn't it? Go to sewage in the Midlands.
Yeah. Why is that Midlands school trip? Did you do that, Greg? I mean, I'm guessing you were massively influenced by it because you worked Severn Trent.
Well, I was going to say, I don't remember going to a sewage plant as a child, but I think school trips for me were walking around to the local church,
off license,
or crack den brothel, and being given a £5 note each and see what you could barter for. That was mainly for maths.
So you went to the Black Country Museum? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, pretty much. But no, I never got the whole sewage treatment works experience.
Really?
Maybe that was more of a South Birmingham thing. I guess.
I was very North Birmingham.
I was East Birmingham.
South.
So yeah, it maybe there was some kind of postcode device over who they split up sewage works and brass rubbings at the local church, and like drew lots every sort of catchment to see who went where with the city council and the LEA, which seems fair enough. Because there's only so much money to go around all the schools.
So basically, you stole our money. You got brass rubbings, we got shit.
No, we had to walk to like a church up the road and just wax crayon, bit of paper. We didn't get to see tomatoes growing because the human digestive system can't digest tomato seed. We didn't get the smells of the country, which had generated from people's arseholes. But no, we just got dead people and crayons, which is very much my eulogy, I think. Dead people and crayons. Here lies Greg. Dead people and crayons. Well, epitaph, not eulogy. I know what I meant. I might have had a couple of beers in the sun myself this afternoon.
Yeah.
As well. So new album, guys, new album, guys.
Wow.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. So new single, Fault. Listen to it. Yay. Tell me about it.
It is a song that we recorded.
It's really good.
It made Simon's fingers really hurt.
No, it was okay in the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. When we were rehearsing it, it was like, it's quite a lot to do for about 4.5 minutes. But yeah, it was fine in the end.
You just recorded one bar.
No.
I was going to say that bass line basically does feel like it underpins a lot of the atmospherics and histrionics, meant in the best possible way and the nicest possible way, of course, that are going on over the top.
Yeah, we just wanted to find a bass loop that we literally couldn't turn off.
Yeah.
It was physically impossible.
We tried, but it wasn't possible, so.
No, it was very good because we did lots of like fun stuff because obviously Simon was playing it all the time, but then we run it through bunches of effects and stuff and like did all that live, which was fun to do. And then played with a lot of like synths, just messing around, really, not having a clue, I think, what any of us were doing. But just like going, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, that's in.
Have you been reading up on New Order's how to write a song with the demo settings on a keyboard or something?
Pretty much.
Was it a conscious decision to go for less guitar heavy, sort of more atmospheric vibe? And is that indicative of the album itself, or is the single a bit of a red herring?
So I think that that song is the most extreme example of the idea of having fewer guitars in general. I think probably, in my mind, it's got far less guitars. I think when most people hear it, they'll be like, there's fucking guitars all over the place.
But for you, there's virtually none.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, there's no guitars.
You only did the 12 tracks.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a red herring. I think, but it is definitely, as I say, the most extreme example of fewer guitars on there, and it's all built around the bass line, obviously, and the drums and shit. And it always was, like, originally, like, I'd always wanted to do a song that was kind of a bit like sort of Echo and the Bunnymen, repeated bass line over and over again with like guitars sort of bouncing around it and synths and stuff. Hadn't ever been able to do it ever with a bass line that didn't just piss me off. This one stuck for some reason.
Excellent.
I wouldn't say it's a red herring, but only like now since we've released it, and I've seen people giving a lot of positive feedback. They made me realize that, yeah, maybe there will be some people sort of expecting a whole album of that, and it's definitely not a whole album of that. So
no, and I mean, I think the album is probably the most varied we've ever done.
Yeah,
I think like there's a lot of different sounding things on there, which is, I think previously we've always kind of gone for, consciously or unconsciously, just this is what this album sounds like, and then kind of slightly pushing towards that, whereas this is much more, this is just a song.
So is it more of a disparate collection than an overall body of work, or is there a thematic link that ties everything, like these disparate sounds, together?
Well, Joe can probably better answer that from a lyric view, but I guess musically I think it was one of the hardest things ever to write, because I think after the last album, I in particular was really struggling to write anything. I was like, what the fuck do we do now? I don't know what else we can do, like within the idiom of our band and like the instruments we play and things. And so probably for the first time of albums that we've done, I was kind of just sort of struggling through a song and going, okay, that one's all right, good, banked, as opposed to just going, this is an album of stuff that all of which I kind of like, is all sort of doing the thing that I intend it to do. This was, yeah, I'd say just getting through a song and going, okay, I like this, I can present this to the band, and then probably the band might like this, or maybe I'll have to have a row about it, who knows, but at least I can feel comfortable presenting this to the band. I did find it very difficult this time around.
In terms of the lyrics, I started off trying to vaguely write an album about living in London and my feelings about the place or the places that I've lived. And it's sort of, I think that theme kind of runs through, but kind of halfway through writing the lyrics, the lockdown happened. So my feelings changed quite a lot about, you know, the places that I experience from day to day. So I think that it kind of works quite well in that it's kind of a bit ambivalent. But yeah, that was sort of the loose theme. I mean, obviously the overarching theme is abject introspection and self-disgust as usual. But but yeah, that was kind of more the thing I was aiming for. And I think it does sort of it is all about sort of places, generally speaking.
I guess the only other thing I'd say as a like neat segue to Kaz and Simon to say something is I guess for me, I thought this was, as writing it, I was consciously doing this, of being, this is much more an album about bass and drum.
So it's your drum and bass phase.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's very much a drum and bass record.
So I'm just going like that. They're the things that really need to be there, and they're carrying a lot of the album, like much more than normal, and like driving it. And as I say, Fault's probably the most extreme example of that. But I think it happens quite a lot where the drums and bass are much more important than particularly the guitars.
Yeah, like I think in the mix, the drums and bass are more prominent. But I don't know, it's funny being in a rhythm section, you see things completely different to probably how Rob does. Because
thanks for that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think there are so many guitars, like so many. The guitar is still integral. It's still a guitar record, like by anyone's standards.
Yeah.
There's less layers of them possibly, but
yeah, they are less. I just feel weirdly, even though Rob is saying that for me, in the way I approached the drums for this one, I feel like I kind of held back more than I tend to in what I play, or the way I played it. So it's interesting, you know, it's not going to be all me showing off on drums, for example.
Well, no, I don't think I mean that. I mean, it's more like integral to the movement of songs. Like, so I think a lot of what we used to do would be like, oh, it's chorus, more guitars everywhere. But like there's a few songs where it's just the same drum beat effectively the whole way through, or like not dissimilar, and it's just building up on those with the bass and drums rather than just chucking 10,000 guitars extra on it.
Yeah, the texture I think was something that we wanted to finesse. So everything, I think we recorded the drums particularly well in general and in a very sort of detailed fashion. So I think that's why that's part of why they are more to the fore, not necessarily that they're really aggressive or showy in any way, but we were really concerned with making sure that every single element was really sort of precisely layered. It wasn't quite such a panicky kind of just like
well, apart from the Kaz.
It was interesting because that's something I'd always wanted to do. Obviously, being a fan of Disintegration, that's something I really like about that album, is that drums, even though obviously great drummer, and the drums are not actually that complicated if you just listen to the drum beat, and it's very repetitive, and it's all about, like as Rob was saying, just building up around like more or less the same drum beat all the way through. And so it was nice to be able to do that, something in that way this time. That was good.
Oh,
that makes sense.
A visitor.
Hey.
Oh. And how's the bass, darling?
The bass, darling.
I say.
Who's quite low end.
Very low end. Yeah. Don't know really. Just bass in it. Just the least important part of the band, apparently.
Just following.
That's not true, dickhead. We did loads with the bassist around. We did all this really fun stuff where we ran the bass on Fault, for example. We ran it through the Space Echo and this ring modulated pedal thing, which we were doing all this shit with. So a lot of the stuff that I think you hear that people might maybe assume are post production, we did there, just twiddling knobs and shit. And so there's lots of that stuff, and we did loads with your distortion on the bass. We did loads of shit, you dickhead.
Oh, poor Simon.
I've just got 4-string imposter syndrome.
Fair enough. But you've also got James Dean Bradfield 91 hair, so it's all good.
Thank you.
Or maybe slightly earlier, actually, maybe more 88 to 90. But I'm liking it. I'm really obsessing over hair at the minute. Everyone I've talked to virtually or in the real world, it's fucking hell, your hair's long. But
yeah, mine actually isn't as long as it was. It was longer, but
yours was
it was it was big, but kind of compacted. But it was big. It's not
that seems to grow out.
Yeah.
It was very sort of Richie a couple of weeks ago.
It was bouffant.
Yeah.
It was.
I think unintentionally bouffant, but I think it was very, very Richie 91.
Yeah, meets Klemberg.
Aye. So, where did you record this record? Because I know historically you've worked with Keith Toff of the Pops. For those, in fact, I say for those who don't know who he is, if you don't know who it is, you're a damned idiot, and you should find out exactly who he is. But this time round, did you play away somewhere else?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. So Crouch End Studios around the corner. It was Simon's idea initially, and you can answer some.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if I guess we were already in lockdown, weren't we?
We were.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know what the situation was going to be at Keith's studio, as to if it would be open, if it would be booked, and when we could do it. And we wanted to give ourselves a bit more time, more days in the studio where we could just book a block of time. And so I found a local studio, which happened to be really good in the end, called Crouch End Studios, just up the road. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like, I think
10-minute
literally in the middle between our houses. I mean, we only live 20-minute walk away from each other, but it's like 10 minutes between. And it's like a really nice room. And the guy who runs it, Rollo, was brilliant and sort of seemed to get it immediately. And yeah, it was sort of, it was just, there was like nothing there because we went to visit it and there was nothing there, nothing in it. And we just walked into this room and it was like, oh yeah, this is cool. It's close. And we can get here with because there was a thing about like, at the time we recorded it, it was like actually in between lockdowns. But it was still a bit dicey in London about getting tubes and all that sort of stuff. And so like not knowing that we didn't have to travel and knowing that we could just like actually book like a block of time, because we spent longer on this than anything we've ever done, I think.
Yeah,
by quite a bit. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks, pretty much solid. And so yeah, just being able to like just go down the road, almost like going to work or something. I guess like that classic James and Bradfield going into Cardiff to record the Holy Bible.
Yeah. Like 9 to 5, but like different hours to that. But
but in Crouch End, so it's not really the same.
But
so if
not
so
very.
if you book, I'm just going to bugger up the editing of this by putting a light on, because I'm increasingly just looking like this shady figure swathed in shadow, and I don't want to scare people. For the benefit of Paul, who will be editing this is really going to piss you off.
Sorry, Paul. It doesn't make much difference, does it?
That's better.
Yeah.
I look less like an extra from some kind of goth horror film there, slightly. Like I've got colour in my face and everything. It's brilliant.
But yeah, it was also, I think I had particularly, maybe Joe as well, had been a bit resistant to doing it anywhere but Keith's for some time, partly because like we knew it and we knew him, and like
it's just a really nice experience.
It's like a night, but it was actually a really good, wise move, I think, to go elsewhere and do it in a different way than we had previously, which we possibly should have done sooner. I don't know.
Is it like a change is as good as the rest, basically?
It forced us to break free of the straitjacket of the paradigm.
Yeah.
But this was me. I remember when I found this studio, I was so excited, and I was really hoping that everyone was going to go along with it. But I thought, because we love Keith, I thought they're not going to want to like do anything different. But I just thought we should, just for the hell of it. And I'm glad that they agreed. So yeah.
Because is it 3 albums and 2 EPs or 1 EP? 2 EPs.
3 albums and 3 EPs. I think.
3 EPs.
Yeah.
Christina.
But literally the first time we recorded anywhere else.
Yeah. So I suppose that is quite a big jump, but also, as you were saying earlier in the conversation, Rob, you were finding, I guess, a bit of writer's fatigue 3 albums in for your part of the equation. And I guess changing the way you work sometimes allows you to settle on things differently to that comfy armchair where you're just going to sit and read the same book repeatedly. And
I think it really made a difference to just the whole mind, and some of it was like a bit difficult at times, but it was sort of, I get the brilliant thing that Rollo did, the guy we're recording with, was like, because I'd said to him like quite early on, this is kind of what we're kind of trying to do, like fewer guitars, like we want a bit more synths, we want a bit more sort of electronic drums and all that sort of stuff. And what he was really great at was not necessarily changing anything, but just going, Rob, remember you said this.
Yeah.
Like, stop fucking adding shit, or like, don't think about doing that. Do that. Remember 2 days of synths. Like, you wanted synths on this, like, which I don't think would have happened at Keith's.
Yeah.
In do whatever you want.
So you were sort of challenged to work to your own sort of remit, basically.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I was just constantly reminded instead of like settling into lazier, like normal ways that we'd do stuff.
Cool. I suppose it's one of those horses for courses that some bands would love to just record the same place time and time again. But then you do lose that experience of being able to actually try different places and work with different people, because you might end up working with someone who pushes you in a different direction, or pushes you, much as you've just been saying, to stick to what you've professed to want to do.
Yeah.
Some people are hands-on, some are hands-off, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a big step when you're that far down the line of releasing, recording and touring, doing that cycle. So it is a leap of faith. And yeah, I think it's to be applauded. Well done. Have a biscuit.
Thank you.
But yeah. Oh, I feel like this is getting too fucking serious now, but maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's what the kids want to hear. Seriousness behind the music. Desperate Journalist. VH1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can only talk so long about bass tones and fucking lyrical inspiration before I get bored myself. So I can imagine it's the same for you guys.
Talk about Sewage Works or whatever.
Sewage Works. Oh, Sewage Works are beautiful. Yeah, so right, let's get away from the recording side. What's the name of the new album? Tell the people, because I've forgotten. I've drunk beer.
It's called
Maximum Sorrow.
I thought it was Maximum Sorrow, but I thought I was making that up and taking the piss out of Desperate Journalists in my head.
And that would have been reasonable.
Yeah.
So, God, I'm going to sit with the album a little bit longer. Dare I ask, why is this the first of your albums to be called Maximum Sorrow?
Dare you.
It was time. It was time to just own it. Stop messing about.
And is it just a couple of words that stick together? Is it a bit zeitgeisty because you get bands using emotions a la joy as an act of resistance? Okay, not that zeitgeisty, that was a couple of years ago. But then Ultra Mono, Maximum Sorrow, they kind of scan.
I hadn't even considered that.
Oh,
No,
shit.
I just wondered if there was a thought. Is it you just going, you know what, guys, hands up, fuck it, Maximum Sorrow, that's what we're about?
I think that's what it was for 3 of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I mean, it's actually, the inspiration is from there was an internet artist called Kevin Beiersdorf who I really like the work of, and he did sort of a lot of things under his under this name of sort of an overarching theory he had about how you experience the world through the internet, and he called it Maximum Sorrow because you get sort of so incredibly oversaturated by emotion from sort of everything being available to you at all times, like imagery and data and just everything, that you can then sort of reach this point of almost kind of like Zen calm. It's like the absolute over the top level of sorrow, which then kind of negates itself. And also it's sort of framed in this, the aesthetic of it is very sort of corporate, in a slightly tongue-in-cheek way, which is why it's like maximum, and it's like a slogan that you might imagine there.
That's why the exclamation marks on.
Yeah, that's why there's an exclamation mark.
Yeah.
And that was just something that it was kind of like, yeah, we do sad songs, so it sort of made sense. And B, I just wanted to kind of evoke some of that imagery, because it is quite romantic in a very bleak but also slightly humorous way, and that's always really appealed to me. And it's just a cool series of words as well. So.
It's just a cool title for an album.
Just stolen it, yeah.
And if there was ever a sentence you wouldn't expect to hear from the National Workforce Skills Development Unit, maximum observation. But yeah, okay, cool. No, it's good because I've noticed each album there has been a story. Obviously, the eponymous one, the story is Desperate Journalist. But I think there has been an interview, at least a story behind and a reasoning behind the title. And would you say with previous albums that reasoning behind the title has had more input into the actual structure of the album, the workings of the album as a thing than it has this one? As Rob said, this is more of just a collection of songs. And Joe, you've mentioned it's about places and sort of, I guess, places and times you've spent in those places to a degree. It feels more like a collage than a fully put together and forced together almost work from how you've described it anyway. I've yet to hear, obviously, the finished result. So I could then suddenly come up with a load of twaddle, a load of sued nonsense of what I thought it was, even though it's not my fucking place to. But I was wondering, yeah, you've got this title, you've got this thought behind it, but the way you've described the lyrical content and putting together of the album doesn't seem to be as thematic as previous works, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I think it's the last album was almost a concept album, and this one, I think, what I wanted it to be is more of a kind of sort of kaleidoscopic thing where there are lots of different sort of images and ideas running that sort of held together by this sort of the theme of places and the theme of sort of immediate experience of them. But it's not quite such a direct thematic narrative.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, although I must admit, I was really surprised when, like, mixing it and listening back to it, how cohesive it actually sounded, because I was really worried that it was going to end up being a bit of a mess. And like, I don't think I necessarily thought it was going to be bad. I just thought it might just very much sound like just a bunch of stuff. But it really doesn't, to me anyway. I could be wrong, who knows.
I don't think it does. Yeah. I think just because of the nature of the band itself and how we just work on the songs together at certain times. And I think it's always going to have that running through it, just our collective input and, in that time frame.
Yeah, I mean, the track listing works really well, but I never really worry that things won't sound cohesive because I just always know that it always sounds like us and it always works. So
you always know that we'll do the same old shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the working title for this album is Will This Do? And that's not true, by the way. Not true.
It is now.
No, at least it's not.
Yeah.
You could draw a line through. I mean, this happens quite often to me. You could draw the sort of praxis thing from after the album was decided to be named Maximum Sorrow. I noticed that a lot of the stuff that I was writing about kind of fits in with the aesthetic of the art that I was referencing. So I think it does match up, but it's more in a more of kind of like an abstract way, if I may be so pretentious, and I may.
Yeah, I guess on a similar note, I do remember very early on when I was sort of agonizing a bit to Joe about what the hell are we going to do? What do I write? What's this going to sound like? I do remember her giving me the kind of line of neon cities. And I mean, it doesn't sound like that. It's like not a neon city. But I guess it was my very like poor attempt.
Oh yeah, I gave you the brief.
Yeah. of like trying to do that and trying to sort of, even though I disparate bunch of songs, I think they sort of actually all do, almost, bar one or two actually, but kind of stick to that sort of brief.
Neon City Crybang.
Yeah. Crybang. Yeah, Crybang was the watchword throughout the writing of this.
Did you basically just watch? Say again.
Sad but sexy.
Like the motorcycle emptiness video. Then did you just watch that on repeat?
Well, I mean, who doesn't wet all the time?
What else have people been doing in lockdown?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that just like Neighbours?
Oh no, I really like the bit when Helen Mangle puts a load of toy Action Man figures in a blender in the second episode. You know, the little baby nothing one. It's unchanged shit.
There you go. That's all you need to know about the album.
That's a deep cut.
Excellent. Deep cut. Deep cuts, hot takes. Get them here. Excellent. So you guys are a live tour de force. When are you going to play live again?
Well, so far we've only got one gig booked, which is in February at Lafayette in London.
So next fucking year. That's a lot of fucking good, isn't it? To all those poor people waiting. Is obviously I'm being facetious as fuck. So your one gig booked in so far is next year. Is that kind of a give the world time to be safe again decision, or is that just we want to have a booking and we're going to leave one that's far enough in the future that nothing should fuck up with it?
I think it's probably all of the above. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't think I wanted to join the queue of people that are like hoping things are going to work out this summer or September.
And the autumn can come and it can be like it was last year and everything just fucks up again because I don't know, that's what's happened, another wave. So we just didn't want to risk it.
Also, I mean, I think this autumn, like there's a lot of stuff like booked up, like a delay from 2 years ago or whatever. But I think we just thought, let's not worry about live stuff and just release the album. So
we need to rehearse as well.
You guys don't rehearse. You pick up the instruments and the microphone and the magic happens.
No, we're very much the opposite of that.
Dangerous band in the world.
The most dangerous band in the world. Oh, I've got a story I could tell you guys, but it can wait for another time, further in the future. I've got a nice little surprise for you.
Ooh.
At some point, but it can wait. It can wait for now. I'm just going to leave that little seed to germinate in your collective maximum sorrow hive mind, and it can grow its little roots and its little branches into whatever it will be individually for you, and collectively you'll all be very disappointed when you find out what it is. But hey, I digress. I should have saved that for my cigarette break, really, that little monologue. So have you... Yeah, so are you trying to avoid that oversaturated marketplace of every fucking band in the world trying to play all at once at every venue in every city? Is that kind of a part of the reasoning?
Maybe. I think it's just loads of practical reasons as well. I mean, we wouldn't want to book something too soon where we wouldn't have time to promote it properly.
Or rehearse it.
Yeah, or rehearse it. Like, we don't know. It should be soon, but we don't know when we can rehearse. And yeah, I mean, there might be something before February, but we don't know yet. So
I think in reality there probably will. I think it's just, for me at least, I imagine I'm more extreme than others. I'm only just getting into the head of being able to think about doing that again. Like, the idea of going into a crowded room just terrifies me. and like not because of the virus. Like
It's people.
I was going to.
I'm NHS and vaccinated. The fuck, but like, but yeah, just like that amount of time being away from that, and so I think that some of that's a bit like psychologically challenging to get over, and to like then go, okay, this is going to happen at this time, and you go, oh, that's only in 3 months. You're like, fuck no. And so I don't know. I guess there's varying degrees of that within. Probably not. It's probably just me.
No, it's quite a change. It's quite a change. And I'd want, you know.
But I mean, we've only started talking about playing live over the last like month or two, really. Like before that, we hadn't even talked about it. I don't think.
Yeah, we had the option to hold the album back, which, because I'm not, well, you could say I'm not patient, but I really don't think it would have been worthwhile.
You could say
that. I think it would be foolhardy to sit on something that you've already spent about 18 months working on, like in total, from from the point of Rob doing a demo to getting it mastered. Like in that time, you know, it already got delayed once because of the virus. I just thought the idea of sitting on it for another 6 or 9 months just sounded hellish, and I just thought we should go for it, regardless of if we can play it live or not. So
yeah, no, that's right. Because like when we decided to put the album out, obviously it was it was like December, so like pre-vaccination stuff. So we had like no idea any of that stuff was going to happen, or whether actually we'd believe any of it would happen in any sort of competent manner. And so at that point, we were just like, we can't sit on this album and just have this fucking album boring us to death by the time we actually play it live. And so we've had to play a bit of catch up, I suppose, of going, oh shit, yeah, actually we should probably be thinking about booking some gigs. Oh bollocks, everything's booked.
yeah.
So it's a precision plan.
Yeah.
We've implemented really well. We're all very pleased.
Yeah, it was like Napoleon's advance into Russia.
Oh.
I was just about to say that. How weird.
Yeah, I guess. No, but it is really weird at the minute, isn't it? Because every promoter, every band, every individual involved with any kind of putting live music on is going, yes, this will all be happening exactly at this point on this date because Boris fucking Johnson said so. I think people need to be a bit more sort of sensible and pragmatic. How many times do you rebook the same show before people go, oh, fuck these guys, this is bollocks? And say with DDD, for example, we've had to be quite careful with booking things for acts. We've had to cancel so much. We don't want to keep booking stuff and then saying, oh, no, it's not happening in 6 months, in 8 months, in 12 months. However, we've booked a couple of low-key things locally in Birmingham, one being part of the Hare and Hounds relaunch. But the thinking behind that is limited capacity and a venue that, despite the fact they could have reopened in between times, didn't. They were like, you know what? It's more sensible for us to stay shut and then offer the service at a limited capacity when it seems safe, full capacity when we're given the go-ahead, and whatever that looks like, who knows at the moment. But it's really weird because there's loads of stuff, say, as DDD we want to book at the minute. but and we're
getting circling around this fucking drain, aren't you, Greg?
Mate, I'm pissing around it. But no, but in all seriousness, there's bands contacting us wanting gigs as well. And it's like, well, we don't know if we can do that at this point in time. and we'd feel more comfortable doing like low-key local band stuff for the time being, and maybe the odd band here and there, but not going mental and booking 5 gigs a week, or not that we ever did that anyway, so it's a moot point, but booking 2 or 3 things a month in, and then having to faff around sort of sorting all that nonsense out. But hey, yeah.
I will say, maybe, I don't know if the others are, but I'm quite optimistic about how the whole vaccination thing is going. And I do think things will, like, I'm not worried about February, for example. Looking at the figures of, like, I just like to see how many people have had it go up every day. And the numbers going down of deaths and stuff. Obviously, like, things are going so much better than they have any right to at the moment.
Well, no, I mean, they have a right to, because contrary to what Boris Johnson says, nothing to do with the government, capitalism. It's because the NHS are allowed to run the thing the NHS are good at doing, which is public health, essentially. That's what they were set up to do, and they're still brilliant at it, and we're still doing it. Nothing to do with the fucking Tory pricks.
Thank you. Whenever someone says, "Oh, it's great that job that he's doing," that Boris Johnson, and I just have to correct everyone, saying, "No, it's not because of him. It's because of the NHS."
That's not what I was saying, by the way. Just to be clear.
I know, really.
Right, they actually genuinely let the health service do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
and they just let them do it without any interference.
So, are you still releasing with Fierce Panda?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Excellent. And is that still a nice relationship? Obviously, you're not going to say if it's shit, are you? Basically, because that would be disingenuous. But is that working for both parties quite mutually at the moment?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's still the same. They love the band, and they're really easygoing, and we have a lot more freedom, I think, that we would have with other people. I mean, I'm guessing we've never been with another label, but we make all the decisions of whatever like singles is coming out, or the album, everything around the album. We make the decisions.
I think they did. They obviously, it's all run by them, and I think they sort of gave their feedback of what they thought with the singles, and I think
we said no.
Between all of us, we found like a compromise. Not a compromise, but
we just said no.
What? No, we just ordered things around, like, because we might like within the band, we don't always agree on what should be the first single, but
true.
I think we all agreed on this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
It's just nice to working with them, because they always check, whatever we want to do first before going ahead with anything, and they've got enthusiasm for the music we do, and that's really nice. That's all we can ask for, really. It's nice.
Yeah, I think unlike with the like changing studio scenario, like there would be no real benefit to looking for a new label, because it wouldn't really, I don't know, I don't think it would really change anything for the better, so quite happy,
because it remains very DIY, and we like that.
Excellent. So basically, you're quite comfortable being at a point whereby you're with a very independent label who allow you the decision making rather than pulling the rug under your feet and making decisions for you.
Exactly.
I mean, I think if like we're obnoxious enough that if anyone tried to make any decisions about us, even if it was the right one, we'd immediately go, not that.
Yeah, I've met you all. I know. So what bands?
Sorry.
What was that, Joseph?
I just said we'd rather die than compromise.
Excellent. That's the spirit.
Yeah, fuck the man.
Or not. I mean, you know, we don't. We
Yeah,
don't
or don't.
Yeah, don't.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Consensually fuck the man, or don't fuck the man or woman, or yeah.
Or just leave it entirely and just go home, stay out of trouble.
or sit at home pontificating about these internal thoughts, do nothing about it, get really upset and write another album.
Could work.
And that's what we do.
Eerily accurate.
Go and protest? Nah. Just sit and silently seethe and then write a slightly irritated song about it.
Whilst knowing that aneurysm is getting closer and closer, minute by minute, second by second.
And smiling the whole time.
Oh, fuck off. You're a goths, don't smile.
Don't smile.
Oh, we're getting to the good bit now, aren't we? Yes, so other bands. What other bands are going on in the world that are piquing your interest at the minute? What's exciting, or is it hard to be excited about anything at the moment?
Well,
I just listen to Yellow Magic Orchestra all the time.
Well, I mean, modern literature.
Obviously.
obviously then. But I mean, Greg, you've met us. You know that we don't get too excited about life.
Yeah, but there must be, like, you know, say Simon in your Some Weird Sin hat on. Like, what's going on there?
I mean, not even with that hat on, but no, yeah. If you want to know what bands I like at the moment, Slime City, of course. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good choice.
Amazing band.
Is that Michael M. Physics?
Yeah.
Crew, yeah.
Glasgow, yeah. Yeah, I just really like them at the moment.
The last thing that I've got really excited about was SRSQ. No, yeah, the Cure always, but that's all there is behind me. But yeah, SRSQ is I've really got into it recently. It's kind of a bit like Cocteau Twins and Drum Majesty type of thing. Great vocals. Yeah, that's the last thing.
Yeah.
And Emma Ruth Rundle as well I got into, which is kind of a bit more I'm going to say metal. It's not really metal, but I think it's got a bit of a post-rock going
a little bit
on.
doomy.
A little bit doomy. And the vocals are a bit, for me, reminding me a bit of Sharon Van Etten, whom I love.
We both like Soft Kill.
Yeah, Soft Kill as well. Yeah, the latest album we've really liked. Yeah, it feels
I really like the recent Mogwai album. I really liked.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I love
I was
the
really impressed by that.
Yeah.
Is that because you're a massive populist who only buys things that go to number one in the hit parade?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was quite exciting that Mogwai, 20 years on, or about 23, 24 years on now, since Young Team was the first album, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that must be late 90s, about 97, 98.
Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
I think it's quite exciting that they've played the ultimate long game whilst mainly steering clear of lyrics as well.
Yeah,
in the most.
say, there's not many vocals even on that album, but yeah.
I guess in my cynical manner, I was wondering how much it said about the band versus the purchasing power of the age of their fans.
There is that.
Very true.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
But Elbow became massively popular at one point, we must remember. And
that's true.
Was that because of the Six Music Effect and Guy Garvey having a show there and their fan base getting older? Or well, I really can't explain it because I'm really not into Elbow in any way, shape, or form.
I hate them with a passion.
I've never
that much, but I've just got one memory. A long time ago, I was waiting to see Idlewild at V Festival, and Elbow were on before Idlewild, and it was the longest 45 minutes of my life.
Yeah, I remember going to see You Are the Quarry Morrissey in Manchester, where I lived, and Elbow supported, and I just wanted to kill myself because it was so boring. Like the guy fucking sat on a stool with a beard the entire time.
He sat down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
The fuck is that shit?
yeah, just like sat on a stool in like not quite a festival, but like a sort of pseudo festival.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm affronted by this.
So basically what you're saying is Elbow are sitting on stools propping up racists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that line. Yeah.
That's gonna make the front page of The Fly in 1999.
Yeah.
Just for journalists.
Yeah,
I
we
had
need
one song which was literally just a rip-off of the Genesis song, which I like. But they're so fucking boring. They're so bland. There's just nothing, like, none of their songs are about anything. And the man fucking sits down.
I think we need to find a newer band to criticize, because you know this.
No,
this,
I'm starting beef with Elbow.
this album.
I do actually. I was saying this to Joe last night. I really like the Orioles.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I keep on forgetting how much I like them, and I've got them on my thing, and they come on shuffle, and like, you're brilliant. Why have I never quite got around to actually bothering to properly listen to you? So I do like them a lot. I think, but the last album I was properly impressed by was Martin Grech, as everyone will roll their eyes at.
I fucking love that as well.
Most people will go who, so yeah, you can tell people.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
Yeah.
I meant most people, i.e. you.
Oh yeah, well,
you.
yeah. Everyone listen to Martin Grech if you like.
He's got a cool second name, I must say.
If you like music that gets really heavy, if you're really, really patient after the really quiet bit.
Tension and release, man.
Yeah. Actually, that was a very accurate description.
So is it a bit like Sting having tantric sex?
Yeah.
Tantric music, yeah.
Yeah, kind of is, yeah. But it's very, very good.
You said that a bit too knowledgeably, like that last time I had sex with Sting. It was like listening to Martin Grech.
Jesus.
Well,
At the end of the world.
Maybe you haven't seen. Was it you that photoshopped the Sting thing of me and Joe?
Kaz.
Oh,
was that Kaz? Yeah. You haven't seen that? It's brilliant.
Right. Okay.
That should have been the album cover.
Come on. Let's hear a bit about that.
I'll send
What's
it
the
you.
Sting thing.
Basically,
I can probably find it.
he doesn't.
You can't.
Okay.
You can't. You've got to use your words.
Sting and Trudy, I think they're doing like yoga positions or something. She's doing like
He's doing like a yoga pose.
yeah, and he's got a
And
lute.
it's hard.
And he's
Sting's
topless.
playing a lute.
By the fireside.
Yeah.
And it's just the most preposterous picture ever. But yeah, our faces have been photoshopped.
If you send me that, this will flash up.
Yeah,
It's a single frame while we're talking.
I'll leave it.
Fine by me.
So subliminally,
for
a lot of
once,
people are going to.
I look like I've got a golden bod. I'm fine with it.
Instead of a mustard jumper.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of a cardigan, a vest, and a slight dad bod, I'm just like a gorgeous, like, hunk of a man.
An Adonis.
Yeah.
A Geordie Adonis.
Did we do a version with the lute and then a version with your Rickenbacker?
Oh
I
yeah.
think there were two
Oh
versions.
yeah.
One with the original lute, the original photo, and one where we put the Rickenbacker.
Yeah. 12 string.
And this is how we spend our time.
Yeah, and this wasn't even during lockdown.
No.
This was just
No.
no.
This is when we had much better things to do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's.
How about you, Greg? I might as well ask any bands you could recommend or anyone you're enjoying at the moment. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's good because this is meant to be a conversation, not just me interviewing you guys. So yeah, good question. There's a band that Sarah putting on soon called Slag Heap, who are from Bristol, and they are proper ace. There's who else? Who else is? I've found myself throughout lockdown listening to a lot of stuff I haven't listened to in like 20 years.
Yeah,
it's like Pansy Division, for example, who I hadn't listened to in so long. I think the last time I listened to them, I was still sleeping with men, for Christ's sake. So it's been a while, but it was just like this real reawakening of fuck. You were funny. Well, still are, because they're still a going concern, but you were fucking, I don't know if brave's the right word, but just so brutally honest about wanting the homosexual experience expressed in a sort of indie rock vibe. And you're talking about the early to mid 90s, where, you know, society's still a fucking shit show, but it's definitely a bit more accepting of certain things now than it was even 20 years ago. And yeah, it's just like, I've really been getting off on, like, that's the wrong phrase, really been listening to a lot of Riot Girl stuff again as well. Saying I was getting off to it would, create a total juxtaposition in itself, wouldn't it? So yeah, a lot of Bikini Kill, Huggy Bear, things like that. And it's been really weird because there's still stuff being released and there are things that I listen to and think, yeah, that's quite cool. Like the new Viagra Boys is really good. I really like that. I know you guys all are skeptical about possibly Black Country New Roads.
I like them. Joe like wants to kill me every time we put them on.
Yeah, I find it weird that they sound like a bypass through Tipton, and they're not from Tipton. They're all from Swiss finishing schools. I'll have a stroke.
Yeah. They're, you can hear they're the poshest cunts that ever poshed.
But I kind of don't hate them as much as a lot of people do for some reason.
Yeah, same.
No,
I don't hate them. I don't have an opinion really, but
yeah.
But it was one of your threads that alerted me to this hate, Simon. So maybe it was just people you know.
It would be me commenting on it though.
Oh, fair enough.
Providing the hate.
And then Yard Act got quite a bit of hate as well for being just another bunch of lads with talky vocals.
I had a quick listen, and I thought they were fine. I had no beef with them.
What's everyone's view on dry cleaning? Because I've been trying to get my head around. Because Rollo mentioned them, obviously, because they'd done some stuff in the studio.
Yeah.
They seem to be like getting many plaudits in the review. But to me, they just sound like the normal, like the quite good guitars, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just like a girl talking instead of a man talking in the same way as like all the talking bands happen now.
I think they're good. Like the scratch card lanyard definitely has really grown on me. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I like them, but yeah, I don't know like what they're going to do next. Like the talking thing, will it become boring? Maybe. But I do like them.
Yeah,
I saw Droid.
Too keen, and then I thought, oh, they sound okay, but nothing like super exciting. But then I think the more I've heard, like you put them on often, and last time you put them on, I was like, oh, what is this? Quite like it, and then realized them. So yeah, it's, I guess, maybe similar to you. They've been growing on me, but I don't know them that well.
I think the music's really good, and
it is really good.
Yeah.
I suppose there's the argument that hearing a female voice present talky vocals rather than 10 male voices doing it should be at least appreciated, if not applauded. because
I don't really like it when men do it either. I'd like just think, write a fucking song.
Oh, God. Whenever I put The Fall on.
What, the streets?
Oh yeah, he's like, oh, this sounds like the streets.
What's wrong with the streets anyway?
Yeah, well,
Well,
they're very fucking different to The Fall.
I know, but like it's just a nonsensical argument.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You're a version for The Fall.
So you think The Fall sound like the streets?
No. Yeah,
That's what he
yeah.
said.
But most of the streets kind of Joe because she loves The Fall so much. Yeah, they sound exactly like the streets.
You know,
So Rob Hardy, musician par excellence, cannot tell the difference between the fucking streets and the fucking Fall.
I know.
I'll give you a clue, Rob. There's been about 1,748 members of the Fall and one member of the streets, which creates the musical difference.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't hold on to people. Whereas the streets, just like constantly having a wank. Okay. So, but for clarification for the jury, do you mean listening to the streets is like having a wank, or the streets are like having a wank?
I think he's.
You know what? I've got absolutely no idea.
I think he's misunderstood. The song was called "Don't Mug Yourself," not "Don't Tug Yourself."
Hey, there it is.
Hands don't come for free.
I've let this Fall Streets correlation that I just abuse Joe with constantly just go too far now.
Yep, you've opened that door.
Yep.
The box have been sullied. Pandora's imps are nigh.
You have mugged yourself, my friend.
But not tugged myself.
Not tugged yourself.
Yeah.
Rob, invite me round. We can listen to OK Computer, followed by the Holy Bible, and then repeat ad infinitum. It's fine.
Yes,
we've
so
been
a great
through a
time
hard
was had by all.
Yeah. Although I would put Holy Bible first, and then computer can be for when people are like a bit far gone.
No, you always put your support act on first.
Yeah. The real talent. I bloody love Radiohead. So.
Oh, yeah, Pablo Honey, one of the best albums ever recorded.
I love Pablo Honey. I'm probably the one in the band that loves that album the most.
Kaz is the one person.
You see,
it's not my favorite one. It's not my favorite Radiohead album, but I really, really love it.
See, I don't hate it. Blowout's amazing. Lurg is.
Lurg is one of my favorite Radiohead songs. It is.
Yeah, except for Creep.
I'm quite strongly about this one.
Except for Creep. And that one where it goes bloops and bleeps after they stop using guitars like desperate journalists are now, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I was going to say, now we're in the drunk bit. Well, I say I'm in the drunk bit, not you guys necessarily. Yeah. So, Rob, you know, like the new single, Fault, off the album Maximum Sorrow, where do in view of what you said earlier, where does the synth start and the guitar end? Because when I first listened to it, I wasn't aware of the sort of like heavy synth influence. So there were points where it sounded like a lot of guitars being layered with synth pedals rather than actual key synths.
Yeah, so that's generally true. There's only one guitar throughout the whole song. Well, recorded as two guitars, but one guitar. So the only synths really are the stuff going, but so they're quite obvious. The rest of it's guitar. So made to sound like a synth.
I think there's just literally one chord of synth that goes, but like 90% what you can hear is guitar.
Cool. Like nearly all of its guitar run through a phaser and my orchestra pedal,
Is,
and
is there some choir guitar?
Is that the ocean thing?
no, it's not on that.
No.
And a lot of delay, obviously. But yeah, so yes, in answer to your question, I am the Edge.
Okay, excellent.
But,
Have you seen one of these before?
No.
No.
Data corrupts.
Yeah, it's a guitar pedal that does synth, subharmonics, oscillator, and fuzz. Next album, mate.
Up my street. Yeah, I could get involved with that.
I bought a load of random stuff.
Exciting.
We used like some quite cool pedals that I didn't have. There's particularly like I think it's quite cliche now. Like the pitch octave reverb delay thing. So that's all over the album, not on fault actually. But I thought we used it in quite a clever way. So it wasn't just that wash of ringy sound. It was like done in this sort of oscillatory, synthy kind of thing, which I really liked. And I remember getting through I did my first like stretch of guitars as the stereo guitars, which are on most of them. And everyone in the band was like, oh, you can't use that again. And like, it's fine. It's just the wash. It's like the fucking atmosphere shit. It's fine. Don't worry.
Just wanted to rein you in. You taking in hand.
I don't remember telling you to not use an effects pedal. I will say that, but
it's not.
Joe did.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It was just not about not having it being like the sound of the album. You know, sometimes excited about a new pedal and a new effect, and it can become, I don't know, the thing of the album, and that's what we didn't want. Yeah, it's cool. It sounds great, but
the way that it's worked out is great. But
yeah, so like all the synths on Fault are just like they're literally like
yeah.
That stuff is the synth.
There's one chord,
and then but the rest of it's just guitar. And like all the stuff you might think is synth on bass is running it through the Space Echo and the other pedal. I can't remember now.
Dave the pedal.
Yeah, Dave the pedal. That.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like there's loads of synth stuff that probably sounds synth, which actually isn't.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of interested in, I guess, because you've got so many palettes to make a bass or a guitar or even a drum kit and vocal these days. Well, obviously, Joe, live, I don't know if you still use it, but you used to use it. Was it an Electro Harmonics?
Space Echo
as well.
Oh, was it a Space Echo you used?
Yeah.
Do you still use that live?
Yeah.
Yeah. In its little pink case.
Yeah. Kaz's pink case, yeah.
Excellent. But yeah, no, there's just so many ways of making instruments not sound like the instruments they are. So I guess I was asking where the pretense ended and the actual synthesizer began. But then if you're synthesizing a signal from an instrument, we suddenly get to a chicken or egg scenario.
I mean,
is God dead? No, it's Easter. He is risen.
I mean, even the synths we use, and the drum machines and stuff, we ran everything through the Space Echo and through amps and through, like the pitch shift thing. So like everything, apart from the arpeggiator, which you won't have heard yet.
There's one drum machiney bit.
I think
that wasn't.
No, that was everything we ran through all these pedals and like did stuff to. Sorry, Kat?
So you sort
of through the amps as well, the drum machine.
Yeah. Like we ran everything through stuff because we didn't want it to just sound like
shiny.
The thing.
Yeah.
So you basically put it through a load of patches, then reamped it to give it that nice kind of warmth.
No, we ran it through, but literally live and recorded through.
Oh, straight through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. So there are some arpeggiators on songs you won't have heard, which we didn't do that. Although in fact we did for a lot of them in the end, but not all. But everything was run through guitar amps in this big room and like recorded through mics, through pedals, which we were manipulating at the time. It was great.
Yeah.
I was in my
I'd say we still haven't really. I don't really think we've gone down the synth route. Like I've still like
less synthy.
Everything we've done is still so like guitar,
warm and punchy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also draw a line through to the artwork, which is all images that have been printed off and then fucked up and scanned in again.
I was going to ask about the artwork, actually. That was one of my sensible questions, but I got a bit carried away with drinking beer and smoking fags, didn't I? So the artwork. So is that a collage that you've created, Joe?
Yeah, so that was the two photos that I took actually for a project I did at art school, which was just kind of going around empty clubs during the day and taking photos of them and then printing them out and messing up the ink and sort of fucking around with them in an analog fashion.
Come on, be honest. You spat on the ink.
I also spat all over the images, yeah, which was kind of fun, and like scribbled out on them and sort of poured nail varnish remover on them and stuff. And yeah, the main image on the front cover is from the sadly departed End Club in London. And yeah, I just thought it was reminiscent of, you know, the sort of things that I was trying to convey in the lyrics, but also looking very melodramatic and eye-catching and a little bit 4AD.
So it's kind of like the melancholia of a space that should be full of people, whilst it is an absolute dead. It's merely a space rather than a humming throb of enjoyment, or maybe someone's having a bad night, but there's still stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same thing, really, isn't it?
What? Not seeing people ever again because you're a miserable bastard. Yeah. I blame the fall or the streets for this. I'm not sure which.
Well, I mean, interchangeable. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I remember Mike Skinner getting on stage to "I Am Curious Orange." Yeah, it was really good, that gig.
Oh my god. Do you remember we did one gig where one of my friends was in the crowd next to these incredibly like Glaswegian guys, and they were talking to each other, and one just went, "That lead singer, she's fucking mental, isn't she?" And then the other guy went, "Yeah, English." Like, what does that mean?
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know about this.
That was at the Borderline at the end of our tour, and I was clearly very at the end of the tour.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that was a weird one because
a fucking great gig.
It was a great gig.
It was good, yeah.
That's one.
Is that the one where I look really buff?
Yes.
You suddenly like went all human. It was really weird.
And it's one where I did the merch afterwards, and someone came to me and asked me, "So yeah, they were great, Desperate Journalists. What do you know when they're playing next?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck's sake!"
Always being in the back.
And then someone told me how to play drums better as well. I think it was that. Well, someone told me how to hit the snare.
Was it by any chance a balding middle-aged man?
Yeah, it was someone who just, you know, I noticed that, you know, the way you hit the snare with your left, I think you should work on that a little bit, because I think you can do that better. And I was just like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know,
such dick move.
Luckily it hasn't happened that much, but it does still happen. And you know, it wasn't it that night as well, Joe, that someone told you how to sing as well? Was it?
Yeah, someone went, you use too many effects. I can't hear you. You use too many effects. Like, why are you trying to do that? It's like, because I've been doing this for years and this is how I want to fucking sound. I'd never think to do that to anyone. I'd never go up to someone and go, "You're doing this thing that you've been clearly doing for ages wrong." It's the fucking gall of it. It's just outrageous.
Well, I think there are some bands you want to just stop doing what they're doing. And you probably, A, aren't at their gigs, or B, if you happen to chance of cross them, you're not going to go and talk to them.
No.
But there's also that argument that blokes in bands get given more leeway than women in bands, and blokes in the audience specifically think it's their job to tell women in bands what they should be fucking doing, which is absolute bullshit. Because let's take a head count. Simon, Rob, myself, how many times have you been told what you should be doing on stage?
I have been told a lot of times.
Yeah, but you're a prick and a non.
I mean, it might have been because they're mistaken me as a woman. But many times, like, people have gone, that delay pedal, don't know about that. Or like, oh, you know how you use that guitar on that song? Maybe you should use this one.
Really?
Yeah, it always happens. Well, not always happens, but
then you also get people
more than you would expect
coming up to you and
I have been
worshipping you.
I've been told stuff as well, but it's in a different way.
I think it's in a different way. There is a really patronizing way of, like, this happened to me. It was really patronizing. It was I don't know, telling me how, just how to practice and how I should work.
It's framed in this way that's like, I know what's best for you.
That's the difference. Is like, I think from hearing like what people say to Joe and Kaz is like, people will say stuff to me like, I know about the technical things that are happening.
Yeah, they're having discussion.
I can actively change that. Where it's like, I know you shouldn't do this.
Yes, you haven't thought about this enough, have you? Because you're just a girl.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the only time I've been told what to do in a band was by this lad called James Taylor, who was like you should really just sing and not play an instrument, because I only like bands with front peoples what sing and don't play instruments. And it's he's only said it 12 times, and I've never taken it with me onwards in life. But sorry, I digress.
The thing that I've been told, like one that springs to mind, I think it might have been around that time, like it was a few years ago, where it was this guy who was like just saying like, stop using a plectrum. Bass playing, like, the thing is, I think muso type bedroom wankers are just awful, whoever they're talking to.
Hello.
Was it Skip?
No, but do you know why? It might as well have been. Only joking. But no. I don't think anyone should be going up to bands and saying, unless you're like close with them and they actually care for your opinion, you shouldn't be telling anyone what they're doing.
No.
Especially if you're a bloke, like talking to like a girl that you don't know and just some unwanted advice. It's
assuming that what we do is an accident or something, like we haven't really thought about it.
That's the thing that pisses me off, is it's like the implication is always, I know that you're just starting out and you haven't really thought about it. It's like, and that never seems to be the case when someone has offered such criticisms to men that I know, but I mean, I'm sure it does happen. But yeah, it's just the idea that, and also that they think that it's like a nice thing to do. Like there's no space in their brain that goes, is this incredibly rude? Or maybe she has actually thought of it. Like it's obvious that they know better.
Yeah, because everyone knows that if you're talking to a stranger in the sort of local gig scene or whatever, what you do is you go, nice set, man, or oh, that was great. You just, because that's all you need to say. If you want to say,
just let's all do this.
Yeah, you see a smile as well, love.
You see,
just looks so sad.
The problem with this hair is like,
hair as
so
well.
I think 10% of the time I really like my hair, but like 90% of the time it's really annoying.
It's true.
So like if I go like this, I go, oh yeah, that looks good, I like that. But then like most of the time it's like, that's
fine, but
and annoying.
What you don't want to do is get rid of it all. Just have it cut so that it's like, I mean, not this, but just a haircut. Don't go suede head.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening. I'm not allowing that to happen.
Well, you're good. Greg.
That's
Yeah, Greg's got to
Greg, your
go.
hair looks good.
Yeah, Greg's is fine.
Mm.
yeah. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Nice.
No, this is the longest my hair's been since I was in my early 20s.
Yeah, well, yeah, same. This is the longest mine has been since I was 16, I think.
It's like longest mine's been since I was maybe about 12. So I
Anyone else?
Mine's been longer, so not
hair
fun.
hair reminiscences.
I used to have hair down to my waist, like when I was a kid.
Me too.
And then, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I had no idea yours was as well.
Mm. And then, yeah, it was blonde, and then it started going mousy, and then I started to become crazy, and I started eating it. So I literally had to cut it off, and I started eating my own hair.
So you were like some kind of self-ingesting Rapunzel.
Yeah, it was like an OCD thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to get hairballs.
like a little kid.
Is that why you love cats?
Yes.
Do you have any more questions to ask us, or is it just?
No, this is just the junk.
This is just
That bit.
Yeah.
For,
The junk, the Motown junk, the rambling bit. I've got a curry on the way shortly as well, just to let you know.
Where
Nice.
from?
Maybe we should get a curry.
Where from?
Actually, you'll be surprised by this. From King's.
I fucking knew it.
Because Sillet is great to eat in, but for delivery, King's is the one.
But what's wrong with King's? Was always the greatest.
Yeah, it was always.
No, King.
Have I been there?
Not sure.
Huh?
Like Sillet is like amazing when you eat him. It's really nice. Though the vegetarian options aren't as good. Whereas King's, like Sillet, through all the way through lockdown, it's taken 2, 3, 4 hours for the food to get there. It's been ridiculous. And King's has been on time every time, and really good food that stayed nice in the container on the whole 2-minute drive it takes to get from there to here. But yeah, they've upped their game.
Is it in King's Heath?
Yeah.
No. Oh.
Yeah, it's called King's. It's in
always
King's Heath.
I always remember when, like, I lived there, and I always thought King's was like a fancy restaurant. I know it's not, but I used to think it was. But it was like my favourite place.
Is that because you're a forelock tucking serf? You thought, oh, royalty, that'll be good.
Yeah, pretty much.
I used to love Diwan.
Yes.
Oh, Diwan in Moseley by the jug.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically Borsal Heath Diwan, isn't it? But yeah, that get 2 curries of your own choice in 2 smaller bowls. I don't know why I get so excited about that, but no, curry excites me in the way that trains excite train spotters.
Yeah. Curry probably excites us more because we don't get that Birmingham curry.
We don't.
Yeah, curry in London is a pale comparison.
Yeah, my mind was blown when I first had a Birmingham curry.
So,
like, some of it can be quite good, but nothing is as good as the just basic bog standard London curry, Birmingham curry.
But I'm craving it so much that, it's been months. I was thinking, when can we go back to Birmingham for a curry? Like, can we just go there for one evening just to eat and come back?
Well, you know what? If only I knew a promoter that could arrange you a gig and a curry.
Wow.
In the same night, that'd be a real stretch outwards.
Curry after the gig, preferably.
No, this is the thing, because we went through a period a while ago where we had quite a few different curries in different cities, but it seems quite difficult to arrange it because you don't want to go on like stinking of curry and having like
full.
I can imagine,
Yeah, and full. Yeah.
I can't imagine Joe wants to sing after a curry.
I don't want to play drums after a curry.
But then you have to, if
fun.
you're headlining, and then you have to load out, and then the curry house closes, and it's all
Oh
complicated.
no, you see, you've got it all wrong. What you do in Birmingham is you play in Birmingham. What you do is you play on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday when the curry houses are open till silly o'clock.
We've done it before.
We've done that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was amazing.
And you have
Great.
a light snack before showtime,
Yeah.
Yes.
followed by an absolute feast at about midnight.
Yeah.
Then either
That's-
stay in a hotel, or if only people lived in 3-story houses in the area, you could arrange something there as well.
I can't remember which night it was that I saw modern literature. I think it was one of the first times where I'd obviously had a beer, and I didn't know Skip very well, but I felt like I knew him well enough to call him a wanker. Like, like wanker.
That sounds like the first night I met him.
I just felt comfortable to be like, you wanker.
Was that at the Flapper?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. Because, no, I saw was it your first gig?
That was our first show, yeah.
No, I saw your first show just before Christmas.
Yep. And then we were at the Hare and Hounds afterwards for getting away with it on a night like this.
Yeah. Maybe it was some sort of like either he was playing a 6-string bass or he was doing something.
He did use a Fender 6 at that show. He now just uses it for recording.
Changing his bass and like.
You called him a 6-string wanker.
Oh, that was it.
Oh.
No, he deserved it.
But that's good if you already feel comfortable to call someone a wanker straight away. And
Oh, absolutely.
I'm scared.
Hello again.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. My phone battery died. So because I've got an iPhone that doesn't do phone battery and fucking plugging in headphones,
My battery's going to die as well.
I had to run. How are you all?
All right, shall
yeah.
we call it a night?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, by the sound effects downstairs, the curry's arrived, so I'm pretty ready for that.
So jealous.
Well, I'd post you some, but I don't think it'd taste nice by the time it got there.
It probably would.
There's
There's going to be enough ghee in that to like keep it in aspic for years.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Potentially.
Yeah.
I also now just want to listen to hours and hours and hours of the Fall.
Yeah,
it's great.
Same thing, really. Apparently.
That is indeed. In fact, it's a dog barking the curry I should be eating right now, probably. So
yeah.
I'm going to off ski and stop that being a thing. But anyway, lovely to talk to you all.
Nice to talk to you. Take care, Greg.
Try a bit. See you all later.
Bye.
Bon appétit.
Bye.